This story will eat you alive. This story is a monster.
Welcome to MojoPlays News Roundup, where we bring you the biggest gaming news of the week. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Concord is DOA.
That was not the plan.
Technically, it was a plan, it just wasn't the same plan that we started with.
Concord, Sony's first big exclusive push into the games-as-a-service market, is officially dead not even 2 weeks after its launch, Sony formally announced on Tuesday. Sony and Firewalk Studios are offering full refunds for those who purchase the game on PS5 or PC, while stating they will continue to explore options, including those that will better reach our players. Concord has already been delisted from digital marketplaces, while physical copies of the game are now fetching hundreds of dollars on sites like eBay ahead of the game's September 6th shutdown. With a rumored budget of $200 million and 8 years of development, Concord reportedly only sold roughly 25,000 copies with an all-time player count peak of barely 700 players on Steam. Developed by Firewalk Studios, Concord was set to roll out new content via weekly cinematics to flesh out its world and characters. Concord failed to not only meet sales expectations, but also received a lukewarm reception from both critics and players. Many found Concord's gameplay boring and the maps frustrating and poorly designed, while others simply overlooked the game entirely in an already oversaturated genre. Sony acquired Firewalk Studios in 2023, shortly after also acquiring Jade Raymond's Haven Studios, who are currently working on Sony's next live service title, Fair Games, which also has received a negative reaction based solely on a CG trailer. Sony in the past announced they wanted at least 12 live service titles on PlayStation by 2026. This number has since been halved to 6, but after Concord's abysmal release, this number could be slashed even further. With Sony being primarily known for their single-player offerings, the company's recent push for more live service titles has been extremely negatively received by PlayStation fans who would prefer Sony spend all that time and resources creating new and exciting exclusives for a console in desperate need of them.
We were apart for so long, I thought I'd never feel your fiery embrace again.
You sound ridiculous.
The Remedyverse.
How do you run from an idea? From a story that lives in your head?
Remedy, the developers of Control and the recent critical darling Alan Wake 2, announced a partnership with Annapurna Pictures to co-found and co-produce Control 2 while also acquiring the film and television rights for Control and Alan Wake respectively. Remedy, whose credits also include the Max Payne series and Quantum Break, has been incorporating live-action scenes into their games since Alan Wake back in 2010, and took this approach a step further with 2016 Xbox-exclusive Quantum Break by including an entire television series worth of live-action scenes detailing events occurring outside of the main game to further flesh out the world. Creative director of Remedy Sam Lake has often brought a very cinematic style to his games, so adapting these works for both the small and big screen is a logical next step for both the studio and Annapurna. Remedy and Sam Lake have long been building what they refer to as the Remedyverse, in which all their games take place within the same universe as explored by the many connections between Alan Wake and Control, including numerous DLCs with the two crossing over. This isn't Annapurna's first foray into gaming either, as the studio has recently produced numerous hits such as Stray, The Artful Escape, Neon White, and The Outer Wilds, among many others.
And cut. Sean, I'm really happy.
Layoff after layoff after layoff.
Did you get him? Really? Why don't you just mail me the bullet?
Another week, another round of layoffs, and this time it's not just one, but 3 studios who have been affected in a single week. First up, NetEase is reportedly laying off a majority of Uka Studio staff mere days after the studio launched their title Visions of Mana. While much of this has yet to be confirmed by either the studio or NetEase themselves, reports indicate that NetEase is most likely going to shut down the entire studio in the coming days or weeks. Uka Studios was founded by NetEase itself, pulling talents from Capcom, Square Enix, and Bandai Namco to create the studio in 2020, with Visions of Mana being the team's first and likely only project.
That day, I accepted my fate.
Another studio who only has one game to its name has already suffered massive layoffs, and their game hasn't even been released yet. Ballistic Moon, the developers behind the upcoming Until Dawn remake, have announced they are significantly scaling down their staff in order to secure the studio's future. With a rumored 11 developers let go, a number of now former devs of the studio took to social media to confirm they had been laid off. Yet another studio that is restructuring is Rocksteady, developers of the poorly received Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which released earlier this year. The studio has reportedly cut their QA department by half, as well as numerous other staff members, including one who found out she was let go while on maternity leave. Rocksteady, most widely known for their critically acclaimed Batman Arkham trilogy, released their first live service title Suicide Squad, also set in their Arkhamverse, to abysmal reviews and player numbers. It has been reported that the reason for many of the layoffs within the company is due to the poor sales and reception of Suicide Squad, which, according to Warner Brothers, ended up losing the company over $200 million.
Oh my god! He's getting up!
Hitting him again.
Rocksteady lives.
The hero does not cower to death, for that would belittle life.
It's not all doom and gloom for Rocksteady, however, as recent leaks and reports indicate the studio has begun work on their next project that will play much closer to their strengths, a new single-player title. Take this news with a grain of salt, as many of these rumors have yet to be substantiated, as they also come alongside many other rumors pointing to Warner Brothers possibly closing the renowned studio for good after the abysmal release of Suicide Squad, a game that was undoubtedly mandated by Warner Brothers themselves to capitalize on the live service trend. Warner Brothers' other upcoming superhero release, Wonder Woman by Monolith, is experiencing troubling issues of its own. Given many fans were hoping for Rocksteady to build their own universe, many are still hopeful we might get to see some of these ideas come to fruition. However, it was also recently reported Warner Brothers might be looking to license many of its biggest properties to outside developers, so there's every possibility we might see an entirely new IP from Rocksteady, but only time will tell.
For the hero, the only true conclusion is death.
Capcom loses a legend.
Guess I get to see it with my own eyes.
Longtime creative director Hideaki Itsuno has announced he is leaving Capcom to create his own studio and is already planning his first game. Hideaki has been working with Capcom for over 30 years, with his credits including the creative director on the last 4 Devil May Cry games, as well as the Dragon's Dogma series. Hideaki got his start with Capcom working on titles such as Rival Schools and Power Stone before being the replacement director on the middling Devil May Cry 2. After becoming the main creative director on Devil May Cry 3, he took over the direction of the series through the action hack-and-slash's critically acclaimed 5th entry. He was finally given the chance to create his dream project with Dragon's Dogma and was instrumental in every aspect of the game's development, including the series' beloved pawn system. With his departure from Capcom and his last game being his beloved Dragon's Dogma sequel, the future of both Dragon's Dogma and Devil May Cry have been called into question. While it's unlikely Capcom will shelve the Devil May Cry series without Hideaki's leadership, his passion project, Dragon's Dogma, will most likely remain his lasting legacy with Capcom. We wish the creator only the best and look forward to whatever fun and beautiful games he has in store for fans.
Show me the path thou wouldst walk.
Xbox's worst game decisions. It's no secret that Xbox has been hurting for exclusives to drive players to their console despite their many acquisitions. But now Microsoft gaming CEO Phil Spencer claims some of that blame lies with him and his poor decisions in the past. Phil recently spoke during a panel at PAX in which he openly regretted turning down exclusivity deals for big franchises like Guitar Hero and Bungie's Halo follow-up Destiny. Phil admitted he thought music peripherals weren't something gamers would be interested in after being shown a demonstration of Guitar Hero before the franchise went on to become one of the biggest successes in the industry on the PS2 before going multi-platform. Phil passing on Destiny is especially interesting considering Bungie essentially made Xbox a household name with their mega successful Halo series. He claimed the future live service shooter didn't click with him, and so he passed on Bungie's initial pitch, which eventually went on to become one of the biggest gaming franchises of the 8th generation and initiated the boom of live service games we're still suffering through today. Although Game Pass has proved to be a success for Xbox, as well as Phil's push for backwards compatibility, Microsoft and Xbox have yet to reclaim the success of the Xbox 360 days 2 whole console generations later. Minecraft movie builds a trailer.
What the hell?
Minecraft fans got their first look at the long-in-development blocky film adaptation of the monolithic gaming franchise with Jack Black as the series poster boy Steve.
Who are you?
I'm Steve.
In development for 10 years and based on Mojang's ever-expanding sandbox game, the movie nails the aesthetic of the Minecraft universe with the bright colors and blocky representation of everyday objects and animals. The llama is a particular favorite. However, this live-action adaptation isn't exactly going over well with die-hard fans of the series. The decision to make the movie live action had already raised a lot of eyebrows, but now with the release of the trailer, fans aren't being shy about their feelings on the film's CGI. Many have pointed out that the film's scenario of multiple characters being trapped within the game world and having to find a way home being too similar to another game-related property that also starred Jack Black. We're talking about Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. Although the trailer is quite short with little in the way of details or a deeper look into the world, some fans are calling for an ugly Sonic-style petition, referring to how fans got Paramount to delay the Sonic the Hedgehog movie while they redesigned the titular character. The movie is currently scheduled for theatrical release on April 25th, 2025, so the chances of an overhaul on visuals by producer Warner Brothers is pretty unlikely.
Okay.
This guy is such a tool bag.
Thanks for watching. Check out more great videos here.